What is up, YouTube? It's your boy Larry, aka VP Blocker, and just trying to hit you with some information before the stock market opens. And a lot of you, I know, you're about to jump into something, and you might not understand why you're going to buy it. So I just want to break it down for you. Now, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Small channel, trying to grow it. Leave a comment. Try to get back to everybody. But here goes the video. When it comes to stock splits. Okay. In my opinion, they're some of the worst manipulation that companies do on Wall Street. It's because they know your average retail investor is going to get blinded by the low price. Now, the low price is in your head. You think, if I can get Google for $120, it'd go back up to $2,600. And then, I'll be able to make, so it's not how it works. Do you know how big Google has to grow? When they split for your stock share, for your $126 split share you bought, do you know how big they got to grow to get back to $2,600 for your share to be worth that? They literally have to quadruple in size? Now, I'm going to give you an analogy. Your favorite pizza parlor in your town, your favorite pizza parlor, you order from them because you like their delivery, you like the delivery guy, he's cool, the delivery person, whatever, who cares? You like their crust, you like their cheese, their business is clean, they're fast, they're reasonably priced. Now, when the pizza comes, if it comes in sliced in 4s, 8s, 12s, 16s, or 24s, does that really make a difference on the taste of the pizza? I take my pizza with pepperoni, well done, by the way. Boom. Does that really make a difference on the taste of the pizza? No. You order from them because you love their business. You don't love the way they slice their pizza. At the end of the day, you're going to get full off of how many slices you eat anyway. The value doesn't come from the slices. It comes from the company and the taste of their pizza. So this is why I say Wall Street and companies, they do a lot of shady practices when they do buybacks and they do these stock splits, because it drives up their share price. It drives up the value of their company for a little while, but they're really not inventing anything new. There's nothing new coming out making them do this. Why didn't these companies do a split when the market was booming? When all the free money, here's what you got to ask yourself. When all the free money was pumped out there by the governments, why didn't these stock splits? Why didn't these companies say, okay, we're going to make these splits, we're going to split to make it more affordable? When Amazon was booming during the height of the Roni, why weren't they splitting? Because people had free money and they were buying Amazon products. It made no difference what was going on in the world. People were shopping at Amazon. So why would they split their price to make it cheaper when they were going up in value anyway? Everyone was on Google doing, at-home stuff and searching and doing all this stuff that we needed Google's technology. Why didn't they split back then? Why are they waiting when the market starts to cool off? This is why I don't like companies that don't pay dividends. I don't invest in single shares of them. I don't own no single shares of Google. Why? Because I own the S&P 500 and they're in the S&P 500 anyway. I don't own Amazon, individual shares of Amazon. Why? Excuse me. Because they're in the S&P 500 anyway. When you own the S&P 500 for these big tech companies, or you own index funds with all your big tech companies, you don't pay attention to none of this stuff. You very rarely see a Dividend Aristocrat split. I haven't heard, since I've been investing, I haven't heard of any Dividend Aristocrat investing. You want to know why? Dividend Aristocrats, they got to stay honest most of the time because they're paying you a dividend. Shareholders are living off those dividends, and somebody who's retired in Boca Raton, or they're retired in Portugal or Spain or Switzerland, wherever they're at, they're going to know when they miss a dividend payment, and it's going to create a problem. And that is what will crash their share price. So they got to stay honest when those dividend payments are coming out because people are living off them. You know, I have 85% of my portfolio. I set this all the time on autopilot. It's in the total stock market, S&P 500, the total international market, and through my job, I have a Vanguard the technology index fund. Now, I'm not getting paid to promote these funds. You can see how many subscribers I got. I'm not getting paid from YouTube to say that. I just like the way that their stock ticker, VITAX, I believe that's it, that they have some of your biggest technology companies in their funds. So I don't have to worry about what technology fund is taking off, which one's not, which one's crashing. They get rid of it and they put the biggest ones in there. Now, when you start buying these stock splits, Apple split, I think in August of 2020, and Tesla split, their shares, it didn't make the company more valuable. People invested in those companies because they believed in them. It didn't make it more valuable or affordable because technically you can buy a fractional share. If you can't afford a whole share of Amazon or Google, you can buy a fractional share. I believe M1 Finance does it. I have Schwab and Fidelity. You can buy fractional shares. You can buy fractional shares with these brokerage companies. So that's no excuse. Oh, it makes it more affordable. If you got $140, you can buy one today and a fractional share. You can enter in $140 and it will divide it for you and give you a piece of that share. Same thing. That's the same thing as a split. If they go back up to $2,600, you're gonna see it with your $140. You're gonna see your split. It's gonna grow. Now, even when these companies do these SPACs, I've talked against SPACs for the longest. A SPAC or an IPO, you're not seeing them first. An initial public offering, that's not how an IPO works. Say you're at a party and somebody approaches you to invest in his company. He says, I'll give you 25,000 shares of my company for 5 cents a piece. You know, I have this vision. You give him 10 grand. What those people do is they get shares long before they even hit the stock market. They're invested privately. So when they hit the IPO and they offer something like Rivian, and take a look at Rivian stock. I talked about Rivian. I said, do not get into Rivian. And what happened? When Rivian went public, the mom and pops, the me's and you's, we're buying in. Was there any Rivian car on the road? Has anybody seen a Rivian pass them? People are buying in. People are buying in. I said, don't do it. People are buying in. Guess what your insiders were doing? They were selling, becoming instant millionaires because they owned 25,000 shares. And they bought them for what? $1 a share or 75 cents a share. Yes, that really happens. They really get those shares for that low. Those are your insiders. Those are your CEOs sold out huge portions, and even hedge funds sold out huge portions. What did you think Ford did? Ford bought shares so cheap. Oh yeah, we're going to be partners with Rivian. Once they went IPO'd and they went public, yeah, we're not going to do it anymore. And they sold out. That was Ford making a quick profit. So before you start thinking about investing in these IPOs, you're not getting it for what it's really worth. You're paying 5 times more. Where's the price of Rivian right now? What happened to NIO? Where's these cars that were supposed to be out there? NIO got caught doing fraud with some fake truck that they were pulling down the road. but excuse me, guys. My allergies have been bugging this past month. When you take a look at a lot of these IPOs and these companies, when you're looking at these tech companies, if you didn't get in years ago, I'm sorry to say this, but if you didn't get into Microsoft when they first came out, if you didn't get into, Amazon and all, they're huge companies now. You're not going to get any discounts. They're going to split it and they're going to try to fake you out with the stock splits, but it really doesn't really do anything. If you own it in the S&P 500, just go for the ride. Whatever they do, you ain't got to pay attention to it. Now, do I own individual shares in companies? Yes. Do I own individual shares in Microsoft and Apple? Yeah, I do. I bought them a while back. But the only tech companies I invest in are companies that pay dividends. Apple and Microsoft, I invest in them. They're two of the largest holdings in my dividend portfolio. Along with, I bought Chevron during the bottom of the pandemic because I was like, you know what, I like their dividend. I didn't even know what I was doing. I just bought Chevron and Exxon, and wow. I'm not selling. I'm not taking any profits. I'm going along for the ride. It's a dividend fund. The reason why I say own dividend companies is they don't play these games. They're never in the news. You never really hear of Hormel Foods in the news. Gillette, Procter and Gamble. You never really hear of these companies. Illinois, the Tool Works, but Western Union, Cardinal Healthcare, Caterpillar. You never really hear these companies on the news. They're not really on the stock tickers. They're not all, fun and woo, this is what we're doing. They're just chugging along, making products that are staples of our, of our world. And they pay dividends. And that's why I invest in them. I have a 5-year plan. I'm 41 years old. By the time I'm 46, God willing, I'm hoping to be pretty much 50 to 60% retired. I'm hoping to be 50 to 60% retired in the next 5 years. I'm going to even stretch it to 8 years. By the time I'm 50, I'm hoping to literally be just hanging around, putting in the bare minimum in my job to get what's owed to me as my pension and stuff like that. But you want to get into a point where companies are paying you. They're paying you to hold their stock. How do you know when companies don't pay dividends? How do you know they're really putting the money back into the company? You don't know. You don't. When a company pays a dividend, you get it before the CEOs can snatch it and say, we got a better idea for it, or they line their pockets with that money. You get it first. And that's the way it should be. So before you start investing or think about jumping into Amazon just because they're splitting, or Google because they're splitting, you got to ask yourself, what are they coming out with differently that's going to make them better? If you didn't buy them before, why would you buy them now? Just because their price is affordable? You could do a fractional share. So good luck in your trading week, and I'll see you throughout the week. No regrets.